Mummies. Ancient Egyptians made dead bodies into mummies to preserve them. Some bodies become mummies by accident. The God Kings. Rulers in ancient Egypt were called pharaohs. People believed that pharaohs were God Kings. They thought these rulers could control how the river Nile flowed and how crops grew. Egyptian gods. The ancient Egyptians worshipped many gods. They believed that the god Horus controlled the land of Egypt. The pharaoh then was Horus in the form of a human being. The afterlife. Osiris was the Egyptian god of the dead. If a person had led a good life, their soul could live with Osiris in the afterlife. Mummies. If a person's body did not decay, their soul could live forever. For almost 3,000 years, Egyptians believed this and made mummies of their dead. They put them in painted coffins. Making a mummy. To make a mummy, a dead body was dried out. This prevented it from rotting. The liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines were taken out. They were put into coffins called canopic jars. Buried with the mummy. Egyptians used gold and colored stones to make jewelry for the rich. When people died, their jewelry and other possessions were buried with them. They believed they could use them in the afterlife. A pharaoh's funeral. At the funeral of a pharaoh, the mummy in its coffin was placed on a large sledge. It was pulled across the desert to a tomb. Some tombs were cut deep into desert cliffs. Tutankhamun. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter found the tomb of a pharaoh, Tutankhamun. The mummy was almost 3,300 years old. A gold mask covered the mummy's face. Museums. Egyptian mummies and their coffins are on display in many museums. The Cairo Museum in Egypt displays objects from Tutankhamun's tomb. Child mummies. In 1972, in northwest Greenland, a grave was found. In it were the preserved bodies of 5 people. One was a baby, another was a young boy. The others were adult women. Toland man. In 1950, 2 men were digging peat in a bog in Denmark. They were amazed to find a man's body. It had a rope around its neck. The man had been hanged more than 2,000 years earlier. Iceman. More than 5,000 years ago, a man froze to death high in the Oslo Alps. In 1991, 2 hikers found his body. It was perfectly preserved. It did not decay because wind dried it out, and then it was covered with ice.